This is Terry Swoop, and this is Real Talk. I wanted to talk about simple ways and simple solutions to stop police brutality. I see a lot of people ranting and raving, but they're not coming up with solutions to stop the problem. No matter what a problem is in society, you have to come up with a real solution in order to stop the problem. Otherwise, it's not going to change. I think the number one thing that needs to happen in order to stop police brutality is every police officer nationwide should be forced to wear body cams. This way there's no cover-ups, there's no lying. Everything is recorded what every police officer is doing on a daily basis. There's been a lot of these police shootings where the police tried to cover it up, they tried to lie about it. If everything is being recorded, you wouldn't have any cover-ups. You wouldn't have any lying. If you look at a lot of these cases where police have been charged and prosecuted, in all of these cases, there was video evidence proving that the police was wrong. If you look at the Oscar Grant case, the police officer was charged and prosecuted. If you look at the Walter Scott case, this is another case where the police officer was charged and prosecuted. And this is why there should be body cams. That way you have video evidence to prove whether there's misconduct or not. I think this protects the police officer, and it also protects the civilians. So all 50 states nationwide, body cams should be mandatory. I think another thing that needs to be changed is police procedure. The only time a police officer should use deadly force is when their life is in danger. Somebody pulls a gun on the police, somebody shoots at the police. This is when police officers should have the right to use deadly force. But when you have a case where a person is unarmed, they should never be allowed to use deadly force. You have a case where a person is running from the police, resisting arrest. That's what your stun gun is for. You should never have to use deadly force in order to bring down somebody that's unarmed. If they're unarmed, you should be able to apprehend this person without using deadly force. So that's the second thing that needs to be changed. And I think if we imply these things to the system, the police brutality will be eliminated nationwide. You're going to have people screw up from time to time. Being a police officer is like any other job. There's some people who are good at doing that job, and there's some people who are not good at doing the job. What we need to do is remove people who are not doing the job appropriately. If you're not doing your job appropriately, you need to be removed from the force. And I think a lot of these police unions need to stop having all this power where they can stop somebody from being fired when they were in the wrong. When somebody is in the wrong, they should be fired. They shouldn't be given a desk job and given a suspension and allowed back on the force after they abused somebody and committed police brutality against another person. So I think a lot of these unions need to stop protecting the bad cops and start protecting the good cops. That's the third thing that needs to happen. When it comes to the police, I think there's people on both sides that are wrong. Whether you're pro-police or whether you're anti-police. A lot of people who are anti-police think the police are wrong no matter what. They think the police are racist no matter what. And I think that's completely ignorant. Any person that has common sense knows there's good police officers and there's bad police officers. But if you speak to a lot of these people who are anti-police, they think all the police are bad. They think all the police should be eliminated. If you eliminated all the police officers in the country, America would be like a third world country. If you go to a lot of these third world countries, they don't have police. They don't have law enforcement. And this is why you have militias running the entire countries. This is the reason why ISIS and Al-Qaeda can take over an entire country. Because in a lot of these third world countries, they don't have police. They don't have law enforcement. And if you don't have law enforcement, you're going to have militias and gangs running the entire country. If there was no police force in America, you would have the Bloods and Crips running the entire state of California. You would have gangs all across the country running neighborhoods all across the country. The murder rate would skyrocket. If you look at what happened in Baltimore after the Freddie Gray shooting, a month after the Freddie Gray shooting, the police officers in the city boycotted. They didn't do any surveillance. They didn't go to any neighborhoods for an entire 30 days. And during that 30-day period, there were over 50 murders in Baltimore. That was the most murders in Baltimore over the last 50 years. You had children being killed by gangs. There were all types of mothers, the kids, everybody being killed, all because the police refused to patrol the city. And that's what the entire country is going to look like if there was no police force. If all the police were to boycott and stop patrolling, the murder rate would skyrocket nationwide. And this is why the police are important. We need to change the police force. We need to change the law enforcement, change police procedure. That's how you stop police brutality. Simply eliminating the police is not going to solve the problem. That's going to make the problem worse. I'm also against people who are extremely pro-police. A lot of people who are pro-police think the police are right no matter what. No matter what the police do, they're going to take the police aside. That's why I don't agree with a lot of people on Fox News. A lot of people on Fox News will just take the police's side no matter what, and they'll portray the person that shot as being a criminal and a thug that got what they deserve. That's not always the case. This is why I think people on both sides are wrong, whether you're pro-police or whether you're anti-police. A lot of these people will jump to conclusions without looking at any facts. They don't look at any facts in the case. They'll just assume that the one person is right and the other person is wrong. Every police shooting is different. This is why you have to look at the facts in each case to determine what's right and what's wrong. And this is why I think a lot of pro-police people are wrong, and I think a lot of anti-police people are wrong. I'm not pro-police, and I'm not anti-police. I'm going to base my opinion on the facts. I'm going to look at the facts in the case and determine who's right and who's wrong. The problem I have with a lot of people who are anti-police, they seem to think every police shooting, the person is innocent. They think every person that's shot by the police is this innocent little angel, when we all know that's not the case. There's been a lot of cases where somebody will shoot at the police, rob somebody, kill somebody, but because the police shot them, they'll try to portray that person as being a hero. They'll try to portray that person as being some type of saint. And that's the problem I have with a lot of people who are anti-police. There's a huge difference between an innocent person being shot by the police and a criminal being shot by the police. And I think a lot of people need to realize the difference. There's a difference between a person walking down the street and they get shot or abused by the police, and some fool who robs a liquor store and gets shot by the police. Some fool who pulls a gun on the police and gets shot by the police. That's not police brutality. Police brutality is when you have a person who did nothing wrong and was abused by the police. That's police brutality. What happened to Oscar Grant is real police brutality. What happened to Rodney King is real police brutality. Every person that's shot by the police is not a saint. So we need to start putting some logic into this debate. A lot of people have different opinions about how we can change the police force, how we can stop police brutality. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. Leave a comment, rate, and subscribe.